Hello makers, welcome to part number 2 of the Scissor arm tutorial using Onshape. We're going to continue right where we left off with the scissor link already made from that previous tutorial. And what we're going to do is those little bolts or joints that are going to help us build the whole structure that is the scissor arm. So for this, we're going to create a new sketch, but this one is going to be a little different. The sketch we need to create has to be sitting in the middle of this circle. And we probably could have fixed this by on the previous sketch, just leaving or making this origin and the center point of this circle to be coincident. But I feel like it's an easy fix. So the first thing we're gonna do here is to create a new plane. And this one is gonna be referencing the top plane. Now this new plane was gonna be what it's gonna be about is just an extension of the top plane, but with an offset distance of 10 millimeters. Click OK here. And now this top plane is directly on the center of the circle. So now the next sketch we're going to make, click on sketch, and we could either select the plane number 1 in here or select it from the features menu. So plane number 1 is kind of like similar to the top plane. So I'm going to go ahead and click top in here. So we have a direct view. And the shape of this joint or bolt shape piece is kind of like this. By creating lines, I'm just gonna make this shape for now. Notice how all the lines are blue because they don't have dimensions, and they have a fixed position. So we're gonna go ahead and start putting dimensions to them using the dimension tool. This one's gonna be 24.5 millimeters. This one's gonna be 21.5, and this one has to be 3. This line must be 8 millimeters, and this one is gonna be 5.85 millimeters. So now that we're done with this dimension tool, I'm gonna unselect it, and we're gonna fix this in position because right now we can still move it around this plane. So using this line that we get from the previous model, from the scissor link model that we did previously, I'm just gonna make sure that this line is coincident with this piece or with this line, and this tiny one is also coincident with this. And that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this sketch. So what we're gonna do is to create a model that using this profile and rotating this shape on this line is gonna create a circle that is gonna make this little bolt shape. To do that, we're not gonna use this extrude tool that we used previously, but rather the revolve one. In solid, we can select the face or sketch that we're gonna revolve. It's this one, and the revolve axis has to be this line, only this line. Just notice a couple things before we hit OK to this revolve tool. First, that this is gonna be a separate solid from the scissor link. So in here, it kind of like automatically makes it to be added to the link. Let's hit the new option, and that's it. Here you can take a look at how that model is made from that sketch. So let's click OK, and now this piece is showing up in here as part number 2. Let's right click this and rename it joint. And also let's put another color to it. Let's make it make it blue for now. All right. So when we're assembling the scissor link, there's gonna be another link like this one sitting here, and then we're gonna need another piece that serves as a little cap that fits in here and kind of like keeps these two links together. So let's create that cap. That one we're gonna create um, using this surface as a reference. And for that cap, we're gonna need two sketches. You'll see why. Let's hit sketch. Let's select this surface because it's a kind of like an extension or an offset plane from this front plane. I'm just gonna click front so we see a direct view and like an aerial shot of this view of this plane. And the thing that we're gonna do is to create first a circle. It kind of starts from here, and then I'm gonna stop making circles, but rather we're gonna use or project not this slightly smaller circle coming from the bolt or joint that we made, but rather this circle that's coming from the scissor link. We're gonna project this line onto our new sketch. So using this tool, select this line, and now we have this circle. Let's stop using this use tool. So now this line, even though it's a copy of this, if we hide that piece and even if we hide this joint, we're gonna keep those two circles, right? Now we just need to adjust this circle to have a diameter of 60 millimeters. And that's it for the sketch. Let's see the pieces again. So on extrude, we're gonna select this area, and instead of projecting it to the outside, in here, we're gonna make it go the other way. So here where it says blind, let's change its direction. And instead of going 25 millimeters, it's just gonna go 1.5 millimeters in. This is, and just check that this is a new solid and it's not, so it's not gonna be attached to anything else. All right, and we'll need to create another piece to finish this cap because we still need the piece that's gonna hold it together. So we click on sketch and we're gonna use the same surface, either this one or this one. It's gonna be the same one. And very easily we're gonna just project this line, this outer line. Again, align it in here. If we want to kind of like hide this and hide everything else, you notice that circle is right there. So for this sketch, that's it. We only need this circle. And we're gonna use again the extrude tool in order to use the sketch number 4. Notice how kind of like it's kind of difficult to select that single circle that we use because it's kind of sitting on top of another piece. So on the features menu, just select sketch 4. And on the depth, it's gonna be 1.5 millimeters. But instead of making a new solid, in this case, we're gonna add it to it. And what's gonna be added to? This one. So here in mesh scope, let's select the part number 3, which we haven't named yet. So this tiny cylinder is gonna be added to this other one. Is it okay? So now this is a single piece. It's gonna be printed separately from the bolt. and later it's just gonna be glued. So let's call this part number 3, give it a right click and rename it as cap or joint cap. And if you want, you can edit its color. I feel like the color it has right now, it's okay, but let's just make it red. And that's it. So now these two pieces, the joint and the joint cap, we're going to download in order to 3D print them. The rest of it, the scissor links and the other pieces that we're gonna create for our scissor arm they're gonna be laser cut. So in case you want or you're wondering how do you export these files in order to be 3D printed, you go here on the parts menu, you select joint, right click this, and select export, where you make sure that the format you've selected is STL. It's gonna be at the very end of the select of the options, and the units are millimeters, just as we're using on the Onshape. Once you do that, you hit export, and it's gonna start downloading it. Same for the joint cap. And even though we're gonna need many of these pieces, we just needed to design it once, and then on Ultimate Cura, we can 3D print as many as we need. So you go here on joint cap, click export, do the same thing. If you want, you can change the name of them, especially if you want to like have your name so you know exactly what's been printing. STL units are going to be millimeters, and hit export. Now we have those two pieces in our downloads folder. And that's it. That's it for this tutorial. On the next parts, we're gonna cover how we can customize the handles and the end pieces or grippers of our scissor arms.